Please remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance, and gentlemen, would you please remove your caps for the national anthem? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good morning, fellow classmates, staff, family, and friends. Welcome, graduates, to the last day that we will spend together as a class, and to the first day of the rest of our lives. High school is said to be the best 4 years of our lives, and this period of personal and social growth was certainly, it came with a unique set of experiences that only the frivolous shenanigans of Abington High School could offer. Sure, we may not have been able to drown out class with our headphones, but it wasn't all bad. We did get the side door open in the end. So, these past 4 years have been nothing short of a frenzy as we grew and realized ourselves. And the roads that we've all taken to end up in these seats today have differed greatly, and I'm thrilled to see where the future takes all of you. The thing about Abington is that growing up in Abington is one of the most frustrating things about living in Abington. Walking from the Woodsdale to Dunkin' Donuts every single Friday, we were way too young to drive. Not a single one of us saw a future in which we'd like to return to Abington. However, Abington has a special effect on the members of its community. Small towns create large families, and the albeit dysfunctional family that we have created here is an important piece of the people that we are and the people that we will become. We cannot get this time back, so it is my hope that you have enjoyed it. In spite of any ups and downs that are sure to come with being a teenage prima donna, I hope that the past 4 years are ones at which you can look back on and smile. So, another special piece of Abington's culture is how we include educators in our community. Despite being a small town, the students of Abington are always appreciative of our staff and the hard work that they put in for us. As students, we create long-lasting bonds with teachers and other faculty members that transcend the traditional classroom environment and make Abington High School a home for all. Thank you to all of our teachers, especially for the vital knowledge that they have provided us. To Ms. Flommer, thank you for inspiring us to look fabulously foolish in our rendition of Romeo and Juliet. To Ms. Gearhart, thank you for teaching a reasonable form of math. To Ms. Farias, thank you for literally zipping around the room when teaching us about atoms. I have never seen anyone play an electron so enthusiastically. To Ms. Madalena, thank you for your refreshing sense of self and unmatched wit. And of course, to Mr. Shannon, thank you for extending the gift of theater to us and for taking what started out as high school buffoonery and turning it into professional buffoonery. Of course, the teachers of Abington High School are not the only teachers that have helped shape us. Thank you again to all staff, including those who have taught us as early as the ECC. And yes, it will always be the ECC. Your hard work, dedication, and patience will always be recognized and appreciated. Now, as I'm sure you all remember, Abington High School did not always look like this, and it is only thanks to the contributions of our community and their dedication to our education that we get to sit in a beautiful facility such as this. However, the old school's charm and atmosphere are ever present in our memories. There will always be a place in our hearts for the PKS room, the original Muffintown Muffins, and you guessed it, a third floor. Again, high school is not meant to be too serious, so I hope that you've all enjoyed the ride and will continue through to the summer. I know that the education we received here will take us on to greater things than we ever could have imagined. I know that we will make it. Our class may be great, but we've had even greater advisors to encourage and inspire our achievements. Mrs. Howell has been nothing short of Wonder Woman in helping us coordinate class events. Mrs. Keneally also advised and helped us tremendously during our sophomore and junior years. And of course, to Ms. Daisy, who has given every ounce of her patience to make sure that we've had a fantastic senior year. Thank you all. Well, seniors, that's a wrap. We have 12 years of solid education behind us, and I know that we'll conquer the world. I can't say that what we're going to be doing in 10 years is something exact, but I know that it will be true to you, and I know that it will be awesome. So, thank you all. Congratulations. There is, however, one person I have forgot to mention, and that would be Mrs. Peck. Ms. Peck has been with our class since the start of our 7th grade school year, which was also her first year at Abington Schools. She quickly became the most familiar and beloved face in the entire building. We would find any reason to skip the last few minutes of class to have a chat with Ms. Peck. She was the kind of person that we all needed in middle school. She was so genuinely compassionate, and that compassion could be felt throughout the entire walls of the school. As our middle school days drew closer to an end, we thought our time with Ms. Peck would follow suit. Our last day of 8th grade was an absolute nightmare because none of us could bear the thought of leaving her. However, we were ecstatic to hear that she would be joining us in the high school years to come. I can still hear the eruption of joy that we all released that day, Ms. Peck, and I hope you can too. It is now my honor to introduce our keynote speaker. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome me in joining Ms. Peck.
Thank you so much. I worked really hard to practice not to cry. Thank you, Fraser. Good morning, students, parents, and faculty. I am honored and humbled that I was asked to speak at your graduation today. As many of you know, I have been with this class since 7th grade. I couldn't ask for a better group of kids. I have always admired the competitiveness of all of you, whether it's sports or academically. It began in our days at the Frollio, which is also where I had some of my fondest memories. The pillow polo tournament during 8th grade, which proved I really am old, couldn't keep up with the 8th graders. Playing the game of Empire, which we played in the gym with the other 8th grade teams. Chaperoning the dances and watching the girls stand all together on one side, all the boys on the other side of the gym. My favorite Frollio memory was when my daughter Dana was a sophomore at Rockland High School. She had the opportunity to participate in a job shadowing program. I arranged for her to shadow a few different teachers because she truly believed she wanted to be a teacher. Well, until she met you guys, that is. She must have been so overwhelmed by all of you because she passed out in Miss Capone's class. 2 lessons were learned. 1, you're obviously a scary group. And 2, not everything you try will you succeed at, but that's okay. It's how you learn and grow. So whatever you choose to do in your next chapter, it's all right to give it a shot. And if you fail, learn from it, but never stop trying. Like all of you, I moved from Furlio to high school. When Mr. Campbell announced to Team Odyssey that I would be going with you to high school, and the entire room erupted with screaming and cheering, it was then I knew I made the right decision. My first days of high school was probably like yours, nervousness, excitement, and being a little anxious. After seeing the same faces grown up after the summer, I felt more relaxed and could not wait for the next 4 years. I had the opportunity to run a service trip, which was very important to me. I watched the changes in my own kids when they each did one. I wanted so much for you to have the same opportunity. When the trip became a reality, I was able to reconnect with a few of you that I had not had in class for several years. I was excited to work with you in a completely different capacity, and I was able to learn so much more about you and myself. I hope one of the many things you took away from this trip is the importance of giving back. Mr. Campbell told me you were presenting to the middle schoolers, and I snuck over to watch. I came back to Dr. Sullivan's and Miss Luco's office to confess my sins. I explained how I was completely blown away from the presentations. They proceeded to ask me if I videoed it. I said, of course I didn't. My phone was on the other side of the room. I was like a proud mom watching with tears in my eyes. I couldn't video it. The trip really did accomplish what I had intended it to, the importance of being selfless. As you continue on your journey, never forget that there are people out there in all facets of life that need a helping hand, whether it's helping kids, the elderly, volunteering in homeless shelters, or working with people in other countries. For 7 years, most of you heard me say, my son, my daughter, my kids. Well, here I go again. 2 things I tried to drill into them, and I'm going to try to do the same for you all. 1, travel when you can, if possible. Go see the world and learn all that it has to offer. Appreciating different cultures is so important in this day and age, and it can continue to help you grow as a person. 2, be humble, be kind, work hard, play hard. Life is short, and now the world is in your hands. Take the opportunities given to you, and don't be afraid to run with them. The halls of Abington became very quiet since you all left, but what I miss most are those smiling faces of some amazing adults that I had the privilege to watch grow. Thanks for making my experiences at Abington Middle and High School one of my most cherished memories. I loved being there for all of you. And most importantly, thanks for allowing me to become an even better person than I already am. This class will always have a special place in my heart, especially now that my blood no longer runs blue, but green, which makes Mrs. Casey very happy. Congratulations and good luck in your future endeavors. And don't forget Mrs. Peck when you're out in the world. Love you guys. Thank you.
Can we just get one more round of applause for Ms. Peck? Words can't even describe the impact that she's had on our grade for the last 6 years, especially. Good morning. Thank you for attending this special graduation day. Thank you to Dr. Sullivan, Ms. Luco, Superintendent Schaefer, and the entire faculty of Abington High School. I would also like to thank my peers and fellow classmates in the class of 2019. Most importantly, thank you to the friends and family who have supported us and helped us over the past 4 years. I'm happy to be among the first to say that we made it. I'm sure that I can speak for us all in saying that we've experienced good and bad times in order to get to this point. Some days were harder than others. Each and every one of us went through those days starting an extremely hard test or having to crank out that 5-page essay the night before it's due. And believe me, I've been there. It's not a fun time. One of the quotes that I found that I believe help exemplify the difficulties of life, but also the benefits they have, is from C.S. Lewis. He states that hardships can often prepare ordinary people for an extraordinary destiny. The trials and tribulations of high school may have proven difficult at times, but they pay off in the end. I would like to emphasize how important this day will be, not only for today, but for the rest of our lives. In life, it is not the easy or stress-free path that teaches us life lessons, but rather the difficult and demanding times that allow us to grow and become better people. At Abington High School, we have the opportunity to take challenging and demanding courses that would test us intellectually while teaching us about the real world. The faculty would almost bring us to our breaking point, thus instructing us to thrive as students and prepare us for college. The hours of homework that we complained about helped us to learn through repetition. Multiple assignments in 1 week educated us in time management. Through strategies like this, we were able to learn difficult material and apply it to our knowledge base. We'll never forget about juxtaposition, which I'm sure Dr. G will testify for, that I've wrote in every essay since the beginning of time. Also, remember right triangle trigonometry? The saying Sokotoa that will forever haunt us in our nightmares? Also, we can never ever forget that painting, American Progress by John Gast. Miss Madalena sure cemented that in my head as the symbol that will forever be Manifest Destiny. High school not only cultivated my character, but taught me about myself and in turn added to it. Abington High School has offered many sports and extracurricular activities for each student to enjoy. We are able to serve in our school and community in various capacities. Through athletics, drama, music, SAM, peer leaders, the Greenway Gazette, and others, students form bonds with others outside of the classroom. We shared hard work and determination towards a common goal. We were able to learn how to work together in communities and through community service and leadership positions. Through activities such as the Boosters Door-to-Door Drive and NHS events like the Annie's Kindness Blankets and the Teddy Bear Drive, we are able to expand our reach into the community and help provide service while at the same time seeing firsthand the impact that it can have in our community. Nothing feels better or make one feel more gratification than a smile on another's face. Or at least that's what I can say from me. We all united in Green Wave Pride through our winning teams such as softball and basketball. At times, we are overwhelmed with practices each day, especially not getting home till 11 o'clock on certain nights, after leaving at 6 a.m. that morning. Frequent meetings, rehearsals, homeworks, and projects, they became overwhelming at times. Busyness, tiredness, stress, drama, relationship difficulties, and learning to work together are all part of existence. The full schedules we endured help us prepare us for college better than ever, and beyond. In the workforce, we'll be exposed to people we ordinarily would not be friends with, yet we need to learn to work together, and we'll have to deal with situations and obstacles that would seem almost impossible to be able to overcome. Although we might not be able to have to find the derivative of tangent or what a confidence interval for a 2-proportion z-score is, that's statistics for you guys don't know. High school has taught us valuable lessons that will have profound impacts the rest of our life. First, we must look inward and challenge ourselves to be the best person that we can be. Always do your best in every task you undertake. Be the best person you can be at all times. It may not always be easy. The world beyond these doors can be demanding. So why not try to make a positive impact after graduation? Once you look inward and reflect, it is time to take those lessons and collaborate with others and truly make a difference. Be kind, be generous, be a role model and a good friend. Support and encourage one another. Put your phone down and have a conversation with a friend and ask questions that truly allow you to get to know them. Stay up for that extra hour with that person who needs to talk. Listen. It is through collaboration with others that the true challenge won't change and challenge will unfold. It is easier to be part of a group than remain as an individual. Stand up for what you believe in. Take responsibility for your actions, no matter the consequences, which I'm sure the boys' soccer team can account for. Enjoy yourselves and laugh often. It is not high school anymore. It doesn't matter what other people think. Run away from gossip and do not engage in drama. Finally, and most importantly, we must pay it forward and help this fantastic community that has provided us with so much. Volunteer and help those in need whenever possible. Go to the food pantry and hand out food to those who are less fortunate. Pay for the coffee for the person behind you. Better yet, go buy lunch to the man down the street. It doesn't take an arm and a leg. Even the smallest action can help make a change for the better. Whether you are leaving high school and pursuing a higher education in college, or simply entering the workforce, Those 3 lessons can help make your life truly greater and greater for the people around you. If you were ever caught between a rock and a hard place, remember the 3 C's of challenging oneself, collaboration with others, and giving back to the community. These points can act as a constant reminder of how easy it is to step forward and truly make a difference. Always remember, it takes more energy to frown than smile, so let your smile change the world. Abington High School has taught us a lot about the many opportunities to gather the wood and set the structure for the fire that will burn for the rest of our lives. It may seem that this is the end of our road, but I view it as rather the first step into the rest of our journey. The teachers did their job in laying the foundation and the kindling sticks, but it is now our job to take the initiative and light the fire that will allow us to live the rest of our lives in a significant way. Let's accept the challenge and look forward to the future. As we exit these doors for the last time as classmates, leave your mark on the world. Set the fire for the new generation and help lay the foundation for the next. Thank you.
On behalf of the class of 2019, we would like to present the class gift. You may notice a lot of the graduates wearing these yellow pins with Karen Witten's initials today. Our class will be donating to the Karen Witten Scholarship Fund in memory of Mrs. Witten. We greatly appreciate her dedication to the students of Abington High School over the years.
We will also be donating to the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation. After reading freshman Amanda Murphy's story in the Greenway Gazette about her personal struggle with CF, we were inspired to donate to her Great Strides team. Thank you.
Take a lifetime, but somehow I'll see it through. I don't look back. I can go the distance, and I'll stay on track. No, I won't accept defeat. It's an uphill slope, but I won't lose hope. I go the distance, and my journey beyond the glory
Nice job. Outstanding. And our speakers are great too, so I have a difficult act to follow. And this is the part of the graduation ceremony where a pompous, middle-aged speaker gives a message and advice that you really don't want or need because you're 18 and you know everything there is to know in the world. I'm going to do my best to be relevant and meaningful anyway. All of us probably feel the same way about what we wish for you, class of 2019. So I thought I'd start there. We wish that you have good health. We wish that you're safe, that you're happy, that you're ready for the world. We wish that you're kind and that people are kind to you, that you have integrity in your word, in your last name, and your reputation means something to you, that you're considerate of other people and yet not taken advantage of, that you can find something that you are truly passionate about and invest your life into. We wish that your work adds value to people's lives, even in just a little way, maybe makes the world a better place. And you don't need to be the best at what you do. Please just be the best that you can be. We want you to be confident yet humble. We want you to remember who you are and where you came from. We want you to have grit and resiliency. And we want you to rise above any of the challenges that come your way. And this one is more for us than it is for you. We wish to hear from you from time to time. And there are more, and I could break any one of these down for quite a while. So I just picked one to be reflective about and how we got here, and that's grit and resiliency. All of us in this room have shared in a common struggle and succeeded and failed at times in achieving the right balance at preparing you to be resilient. It's the balance between protecting you and overprotecting you. We want to prevent you from ever falling, and that's impossible. And when you fall, we always want to be there to pick you up. That is also impossible. And if we could, and I know I speak for everyone, if we could duct tape you and wrap you in bubble wrap, we would, but we would have failed you. In the movie Batman Begins, young Bruce Wayne, who is about 11 years old, falls down a well and breaks his leg. Down there in the well, he is scared by bats, which later become his symbol of strength. Batman overcomes his fears and becomes stronger. But let's really break this down. If you remember the movie, Batman's father, Thomas Wayne, finds young Bruce in the well and carries him home and patches him up and says in the scene, "Why do we fall, Bruce?" Answering his own question, Batman's father says, "So we can learn to pick ourselves up." The butler and lifelong friend Alfred is there, and he sees the wisdom in this traumatic but simple, teachable moment and approach, and he never forgets it. Many years later, while Wayne Manor is burning down, and after falling down an elevator shaft, Bruce Wayne, Batman, desperately says to Alfred, "I wanted to save Gotham, and I have failed." Alfred simply looks at Bruce Wayne and says, "Why do we fall, sir?" Answering his own question, Alfred says, so we can learn to pick ourselves up. This is followed, of course, by Batman picking himself up and heroically saving Gotham City. The lesson is obvious. Get up, learn from your mistakes, and move forward and be a better and stronger person. But we can't forget that someone was there to help guide even Batman. You see, we have all been reliving similar versions of those scenes from Batman your whole life, as a daughter, as a son, as a student, as a parent, family member, caregiver, or educator, or coach. We've tried to achieve the perfect balance. Actually, our real version is much more magnificent and glorious than Batman trying to save Gotham City. Ours is real. Over the years, you have fallen. You fell off of a bike or a skateboard. You had an accident. And someone in this room was there and waited in an emergency room with you, or patched you up and dried your tears. You had a problem at school that was overwhelming. You played an instrument, a sport, created art, performed, participated at an activity. You made and you lost friendships. At times, you each struggled and fell down. And to one degree or another, there is a person or there are people in this room who were there. Now, please let me be clear. There are varying degrees of falling down. Not everybody falls the same. I am also not saying that everyone was supported equally or perfectly. And this is what makes our lives more magnificent and glorious than Batman in Gotham City. When we fall, it really hurts. It's not a movie. When we have tried to help you and pick you up, it's far from perfect. We aren't perfect. As people in real life, we didn't get to read from a well-written script or make edits and rehearse what we do. Helping you too much means you become enabled, entitled, and weak. Helping you too little means that you fall farther or perhaps get hurt more. Rarely do our problems end with the bad guys being defeated by really good-looking people in 90 minutes with great music and special effects. That's not to say that everybody isn't good-looking. We wish that you have grit and resiliency. And this will be my last comic book movie quote, and I'll end with a thought. In the movie The Black Panther, the Black Panther's father was trying to convince him that he was gritty and resilient enough to be king. T'Chaka, the Black Panther's father, told his son, "A man that has not prepared his children for his own death has failed them." And here is my thought. If we as parents, caregivers, and educators have not prepared you to be kings and queens of your own futures, we have failed you. Because we haven't been perfect, but I can tell you we haven't failed. You are ready. Be gritty, be resilient, because life isn't fair, but it is good. And oh yeah, this one's more for us than you. Please, we'd like to hear from you from time to time. Thank you.
All these years, Mr. Schaefer, I didn't know you were such a movie buff. Good morning, faculty, families, distinguished guests, and of course, our graduates. Thank you for coming out on this, our second sunny day of the year. Thank you to Mrs. Peck for all your kind words to our students. Thank you to the class officers and class advisors, Mrs. Howell and Mrs. Daisy. I'd also like to thank a few folks who worked hours to prepare today's program. Ms. Luco, Mrs. Kelleher, Mrs. Harrington, Ms. Hawhey, the honor guard, the chorus, the band, and all of the faculty who helped our graduates master the hesitation step at our several rehearsals this week. I'd also like to recognize and thank the PTO and the senior parents who who provided the amazing breakfast last week before the exit motorcade and the picnic at Riley Field yesterday. Thank you, parents. Now, I had a few thoughts, and I heard a few mumblings throughout rehearsals this week about how you think that I'm going to stand up here and boast about how your achievement scores helped to jettison Abington High School to be named a National Blue Ribbon School. Or how your achievement scores significantly closed achievement gaps, earning Abington High School a distinction only given to 33 public high schools in the nation in the last 5 years. But I'm not. Despite that you absolutely crushed it, that's not what I'll remember about you or why I'm most proud of you. Not even close. I am most proud of your strength of character and your fearless determination to be heard and to make a difference. I am truly troubled that you have grown up in a climate of school shootings and that ALICE training and safety drills are now normalized as basic school curricula. But at the same time, your thoughtful actions in response to the Parkland school shootings completely affirmed for me that your education has empowered you to use your voice for good, for peace, for health and well-being. There were opposing opinions and thoughtful divergent arguments related to the prominent issues of mental health and access to health care, the Second Amendment of the Constitution, and should we arm teachers? But as complex as those issues are, and as precarious as those days were, with very few exceptions, you were a model for our country and our democratic values. You conducted yourselves with such integrity and compassion, I thought, wow, this class should run Congress. Less emotional, but still characteristic of your collective culture, you also brought forward your cases for a later start to school day to the school committee and advocated appropriately and thoughtfully for changes to the food and beverage policies, and as Fraser already mentioned, for a more expedient access to the building in the morning. And then this past fall, so many of you participated in or supported the unprecedented drama production of the Laramie Project. I was completely blown away. To be 16 and 17 years old and take on the sophisticated topics of present-day civil rights, homophobia, and hate crimes in documentary-style political theater, play multiple characters, and then provide late-night Q&A opportunities for each audience was not only dramatically impressive, but so damn brave of you. Now, if that wasn't enough to demonstrate the strength of character of your class, you also staged 2 old-school style sit-ins. One at the homecoming, in an effort to get us to turn off the lights, and the other on your last day of school. Although I'm not sure if that had any related cause, it still supports your skills of peaceful resistance in general. To top it all off, you themed your yearbook Making Waves. Not only is that so perfectly fitting for your class, but it is also so incredibly timely. I can't wait to watch how you apply your education and make waves everywhere you go. Class of 2019, on behalf of the Abington High School community, congratulations and sincere best wishes. At this time, I'd like to invite School Committee Chair Mr. Chris Coyle and Assistant Principal Luco to the stage to confer diplomas on the senior class. Frazier Preston Toomey, President, Class of 2019. Amanda Lee Wynn, Vice President, Class of 2019, Ways and Means, National Honor Society. Madison K. Cafaro, Secretary, Class of 2019, National Honor Society. Allison Ann McLeod, Valedictorian, Treasurer, Class of 2019, President, National Honor Society. Jason Scott Kinneberg, Student Speaker, Vice President, National Honor Society. Layla Zahra Abudra. Ezron Joel Acevedo. Bryson William Andrews. Robert Anthony Barbudo. Michael Boyle. Michael J. Broomstein. Jessica May Brundage. Criselda Davlin Burke. Lila Marie Carey. Charlotte Ann Champa, Secretary, National Honor Society. Jane Lee Clark. Emma Jane Coe, National Honor Society. Madison Barbara Contrino. Kayla Marie Cook. Abby Jane Margaret Cristoforo, National Honor Society. Tony Wynn Dow. Taylor Alden DeMarco. Catherine Rose Desmond. Tabitha Marie Damasio. Julia Hugh Doe, National Honor Society. Ryan Michael Doherty. Daisy Yana dos Santos Ribeiro. Emily Ann Duchaney. Abigail Rose Edwards. Ayman A. Elhanawi. Jenna Mary Galvin, National Honor Society. Anthony Joel Garcia. Joseph Robert Godfrey. Carly Frances Goldberg. Madison Elaine Grafton. Haley Elizabeth Grimard. Madison Mackenzie Hagan. Christopher John Haggerty. Ava Hajar. Grace Elizabeth Hanley. Kyle Henry Heron. Haley Beth Holmes, National Honor Society. Chris Hemberson Jean. Jack Jordan Siegel. Tanisha Camille Joseph. Nathan David Joyce, National Honor Society. Hannah Patrice Kearney, National Honor Society. Christian Kerr. Christian L. Labossiere. Former school committee member, Ms. Leary, will give her diploma to Colin Michael Leary. Jocelyn Beatrice Lemus Chavaria. Matthew T. Long. Michael Francis Lyons. Matthew Daniel McLeod. Neil Kevin McLeod. Dylan Michael Megararu, National Honor Society. Kaylin Elizabeth Mahoney, National Honor Society. Catherine Claire Mirando. Ways and Means, National Honor Society. Nicole Catherine Morella, National Honor Society. Caitlin May Marini. Monique Rosilda Martins. Justin Andrew Mascal. Abigail Catherine Maynard, National Honor Society. Brianna Elizabeth McCadden, National Honor Society. Gina Marie McCarthy. Haley Pearl McClafferty, National Honor Society. Allison McDonald. Adam Richard McElroy Durkee. Emily Marie Morel. Justin Peter Murphy. Jordan Elizabeth Needle. Kyle James Nealon. Lauren Elizabeth Nelligan, National Honor Society. Holden Jeffrey Nilsson. Madison Rose O'Connell, National Honor Society. Craig W. O'Connor. Jennifer Michelle O'Neill, Treasurer, National Honor Society. Brooke Kathleen Petnati. Ashley Marie Polito. Israel Portela. Sophia Ann Reardon. Megan Elizabeth Reed, National Honor Society. Christiana Rosen Remelad. Josiah Rosa. Sarah Lynn St. John. Shannon Marie Snyder. Maureen M. Stanton. Trevor Michael Stapleton. William Robert Strickland. Casey Alicia Strobel. Liam Mark Sullivan. Matthew Edward Swan. Thomas White Tajian. Hannah Angela Thurberg. Bryce McKay Tolan, National Honor Society. Christopher James Tassone. Christina Nicole Varney. Elizabeth Sophia Venuti, National Honor Society. Jacob David Wedge. Jake Walden Wilkinson. Mohammed Zayden. Gianna Christine Zanaboni. Michaela Marie Zulan. On behalf of Abington High School, congratulations, class of 2019.
Class of 2019, to signify our official graduate status, please move your tassel to the left of your cap. Thank you, administration, school committee, faculty, friends, and family, for being here to celebrate with us. My name is Allison McLeod, and it is an honor to be standing here today as valedictorian. And to the class of 2019, it is a privilege to share some final parting words with you this morning. I'd like to start with a question that I had to answer more times than I can count this past year. Actually, if we're being grammatically correct, it's an imperative sentence, a command, which makes it even more intimidating. So, tell me about yourself. I am sure that we have all answered this recently in one way or another. College admissions essays, reflective final projects, interviews for summer jobs. Personally, I had to interview with alumni as part of my college admissions process, and every interview started this way. So after I had answered this question a few times, I basically had my script memorized. Well, I'm an intended computer science major, and I spend about half my day in math classes because I love problem solving, but I spend most afternoons in rehearsals for the spring musical, which always makes me happy, even after a long day. Half of that definition of myself was about being a student at Abington High School. Even if you don't have the most green wave pride, it is undeniable that the people and experiences here have shaped us. For me, it was Mrs. Harrington demonstrating instruments for our 4th grade class that inspired me to learn the flute. It was Mr. Shannon's drama club productions and peeking in on rehearsals that made me dream of my senior year musical long before I entered high school. It was Mr. Hill's computer class and the classic Excel projects like Planetary Search that made me curious about computer science. I encourage you all to take some time today to think about the moments that shaped you and thank the people who made them happen. But as of a couple minutes ago, we are no longer Abington High School students. Yes, Abington High has been a big part of who we are and will remain part of who we are. But now it's time to write a new script. So, who are we now? What is our new answer to tell me about yourself? Our instinct is to identify with our next step, our college, our career, because that is where we will invest our time, that is what we are proud of, and that is what people ask about when they meet us. If you got tired of the question, where are you going to college next year? Just wait. The college version of that question is, what do you plan to do after graduation? It makes sense that society's tendency is to categorize us by level of education and career. But because we have the privilege of being a class of only 109 students, I know you all better than that. I know that the college name on your sweatshirt or the job title on your business card in a few years does not capture everything that you are. It is so easy to get caught up in this idea of a linear progression from high school to college, career to retirement. In fact, I am the poster child for getting caught up in that idea, growing restless, waiting for the next step. But when we hyper-focus on that given timeline, on these stages of life that we are supposed to continually chase after, we lose sight of the bigger picture. While it's important to set goals, our self-worth is not derived from passing those goalposts. We're so afraid of failure because we invest so much of our identity into being one thing, a student, an athlete, an artist. So when we find that the path to success is not a straight line, but instead a road with twists and turns and ups and downs that might not lead where you expected, it is easy to feel inadequate, to feel like you're not good enough at the thing that defines you. For me, I put the weight of my identity on 2 labels this year, student and performer. These are the 2 things I thought I was good at being, the 2 titles that I crafted my college applications around. So when I started falling short of my goals in these 2 categories, I lost my confidence. I started defining myself by these perceived failures. Now I was the girl who didn't get into what she thought was her dream school. I was the girl whose score of the audition missed the cutoff by 1 point. But our identity is not merely the sum of our successes and failures. We should not define ourselves by any one part of our story, nor any single role we play. When we do that, we limit ourselves. Instead, we need to recognize and celebrate the different facets of our identity. We need to understand that setbacks are not failures. We need to embrace the twists and turns along the road that we initially thought was straight for miles. Today, when I received my diploma, I was introduced as Allison McLeod, valedictorian, treasurer of the class of 2019, National Honor Society president. I'm proud of earning those titles, but that's not the authentic answer to tell me about yourself. So let's try something else. I'm Allison McLeod, daughter, sister, twin, friend, theater nerd, musician, engineer, problem solver, advocate for women in STEM, reader, writer, procrastinator, dog lover, Disney aficionado, and complex human being. In a world that labels you as one thing, don't forget that you contain multitudes. Thank you, and once again, congratulations.
take you off.